Zion Williamson and Morant are two of the best young stars in the NBA. Coincidentally, they were drafted moments after each other. 5 years before they went 1-2, Zion Williamson and Morant were AAU teammates. However, both came off the bench for the South Carolina Hornets and were viewed as mainly role players on the team. Just a few short years later, they find themselves forever entangled as their careers will constantly be compared. Both players have gotten off to an exceptional start to their career. They have made immediate impacts for their team and are clearly the future for their respective franchises. And in the near future, I expect to see some great battles in the Western Conference playoffs between these two. However, the paths they took to making the NBA could not be more different. So let's take a look back to when two of the most promising young players in the NBA shared the court. Before all the hype, fame, and money, when it was truly pure basketball. The summer before Morant was a sophomore in high school and Williamson was a freshman, they played on a small regional grassroots team called the South Carolina Hornets that did not have any shoe company backing. It was during the summer with the Hornets that Williamson had his first burst of fame on the recruiting circuit. Zion was always a mild-mannered kid, never showed much expression, T. Morant, Ja's father said. He was probably 6'3" then. He had hops, but he didn't have the hops that he possesses now. Still, he was dunking by then, as was Morant, whose first slam in a game came at 14, playing with Williamson. It was a notable tournament in Greensboro, North Carolina, that sent the two on forking paths. I guess the rest of the athleticism had to kick in, but he was catching alley-oops from Ja then, T. Morant also said. I think his game really opened a lot of people's eyes. One kid went up for a layup and he tried to put it off the glass, and Zion looked like he went to the top of the square and pinned it. It was a big tournament. Everyone went crazy and that went viral. And truly after that, the rest was history. Over the next few months, Zion would take the country by storm, going from 3,000 followers on Instagram to over 175,000 in a matter of weeks. Williamson would go on to become a basketball phenom and the most hyped high school prospect since LeBron James. Williamson's monstrous dunks became viral while he was still in high school and helped transform him into one of the most touted college prospects of all time. He would end up being the third overall player in his recruiting class behind his future teammates RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish. Zion Williamson truly became one of the biggest figures in college basketball history during his time at Duke, amassing over 3 million followers on social media. ESPN also went on a frenzy, constantly flooding articles and news with anything pertaining to Zion. And at this time, he was as famous as many of the NBA players he was being compared to. "It's crazy to me," Williamson said. "It's not something you get used to. Well, I'm not used to it at all yet. I'm still enjoying everything and having fun with it. I'm just focused on getting better. None of this gets me away from that." After one go-around, Williamson went on to the Adidas circuit, while Morant stayed behind with the humble Hornets. The only schools who came along with a scholarship in hand were Maryland Eastern Shore and South Carolina State. That kind of debunks a common misconception, that Murray State was the only program to offer Morant. According to T. Morant, 13 Division I programs made official courtships for Ja, including Frank Martin's South Carolina Gamecocks. Clemson was also supposedly interested in him. Regardless, most schools only came calling after Murray State found him. And that is the crazy story in all of this. It was the most incredible kind of accident. In July 2016, former Murray State assistant James Cain was heavily recruiting a prospect named Tevin Brown, who eventually went on to start for Murray State. Cain showed up on a Wednesday in Spartanburg for a ragtag AAU combine of sorts. Earlier that day, dozens of kids were measured and went through drills. The best testers were kept in the main gym. A small cluster of the rest, Morant among them, were directed to the back of the gym, mostly to play 3-on-3. So Cain is in the building watching Brown, but he's really hungry, so he asks an event organizer where he can get some concession stand food. Cain would then wander into the back of the gym looking for food. Instead, he finds the next NBA player to come out of Murray State. Cain is surprised to see this lanky kid dominating in 3-on-3. His name isn't even available in the recruiting packet handed out to the coaches at the event. "I've always thought James is one of the top talent evaluators in college basketball," said Murray State coach Matt McMahon. "He called me and said, this kid's going to be a pro." Cain was smitten and dumbfounded. Why is this kid not playing in the main gym? And who the hell is he? T. Morant was there that day. GoPro in hand, capturing his son on video in hopes of eventually catching the eye of a flourishing program. Kane connected, and within essentially a week's time, McMahon offered Morant a scholarship in the parking lot after a tournament in Greensboro. Soon after, other schools followed. Slowly, because Morant wasn't on social media and didn't use the platform to boost his reputation the way most players do now. Within a few months, Morant would commit to Murray State. He would end up playing 2 seasons at Murray State, but didn't fully break onto the scene until his sophomore year, where he eventually became one of the most highly touted prospects in the 2019 NBA draft. Morant and Williamson couldn't have had more disparate paths to get to this point. From 2015 to 2018, Williamson became the most famous high school player since LeBron James, en route to being the top attraction in college basketball, while Morant thrived in obscurity until his sophomore year at Murray State. However, at the end of the day, both these players met up again in the green room at the 2019 NBA draft, and then heard their names called only moments apart by Adam Silver. And now they truly seem fated to meet up again in the Western Conference playoffs, and I guess we'll have to just wait and see how this story truly ends. But anyways guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to drop a like and comment, and if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.